let's make this flower grow. So let's make this flower grow. Let me save the program here. Let's place this one in a loop. So we're gonna place it in a loop first of all, and then I'm gonna use a clear before. Let's see if it runs correctly. Yep. So right now we are clearing the screen and redrawing the flower 60 times per second. Everything still looks okay. The question is, this is the background. Let me see how it looks without the background. We can leave the background there. Yeah. You know, we can leave the background or we can just remove the background. This is the stem and this is the flower. All right. So we are focusing on the stem. Basically, this should be the rect, should be the stem itself, and these two ellipses should be the, as it looks here, should be these two leaves, because these are the only two ellipses for the leaves. So let's make the rectangle grow. So rectangle is this coordinate with 30, because it's narrow, and then the height is 237, right? So we are interested in making the height grow from a 0 to 237 here. And the way we're gonna do that is basically we can have we can have a variable here, of course, that will vary this one. But the question is then, how can we vary the other? How can we vary also the stems, the petals, and how can we vary the you know, the leaves when we draw? So perhaps for this one we should take a different approach, and I'm thinking to basically introduce a variable here, frame, that should start at 0, and basically this frame inside the loop, we should increase it. In a way, it's like frame count. I guess you could have used frame count, or just let's use this variable. So it starts at 0, so each iteration through the loop should increase this variable. And now we should verify for this variable and make these numbers change based on between what frames we are. So perhaps we can do something like this. If we are between frame 0 and 100, we can grow the stem. If we are between frames 100 and 200, perhaps we can grow the leaves. If we are between 200, and I'm just picking round numbers here, we can grow the petals all at once, right? And between 300 and 400, we can grow the yellow part. So let me comment this out, because these are just some of our nodes. And it's also the opportunity, I take the opportunity to introduce you a function here. A function that is named map. A function that is named map. And what map is doing, if you give it a variable and you tell that this variable, or it varies between, let's say, 1 and 100, and you should vary it not between 1 and 100, but you should vary it between perhaps 1 and 1000, map will return a new value that is basically mapping the interval 1 to 100 into 1000. So basically, if x is originally in the middle 50, it will return 500, because in the new interval, for the first interval 50, it's in this interval. For the second one, it's in the 500, it's in the middle, right? So it does a few mathematical calculations. We can actually implement this function ourselves. It's not that difficult, but it's already implemented here. So anyway, so what I'm thinking now is to basically use this function to map the frame and say if the frame is in this interval, where when the frame goes from 0 to 100, the stem to grow from 0 to 377 to 237. Yes, this is what I want to use basically. So basically when frame goes from 0 to 100, I want the stem to go from 0 to 37. And I'm going to use the map function to return a new value and make the stem basically when the frame is 0, the stem will be 0. But when frame reaches 100, the stem will already be 237, right? So we'll reach the full size here. So, all right, a lot of talking. And also, perhaps this exercise, it's for a little bit more advanced users. It still uses only the element of programming that we learned until now. Is nothing new here, but the kind of logic that I'm putting in this program, it's a little bit more advanced. So if you are still in the beginning and watching this lesson, so just enjoy watching it. If you are more advanced, for sure you can even notice optimizations and you can ping me and put in the chat there how can I better optimize the program. So I'm thinking to create a function here. Let me create it, function, and I'll name it grow, because let's say everything is growing in this program. So it will grow from a value to a value. Let's say when it's between frame 1 and basically between frame 2. These are not properly named, between frame 1 between frame 2. But bear with me for a second, right? So what I want to do now is to use that kind of map function. I want to do a return here, and I want to use the map function, right? And I want to map the frame. Frame is a global variable. It's not coming in this program. So I want to say when the frame is between these two frames, I want to basically vary it and be between from and to, right? So I think I'm doing right. It's between from and to. A lot of, let me show you how I plan to use this one, how I intend to use this one, to see if it makes sense. So I want to go here in the stem, and instead of 237 here, actually I want to use this expression grow, and basically I have to pass all these arguments. So basically to grow from what value to what value, and so I want to grow from 0 to 237 when the frame is between, basically we said here already, between 0 and 100. Let's see if it does. Oops. It grows in the opposite direction. I think all flowers grow from the bottom, but the reason is because the rectangle, this corner, it's in the top corner and then it's put down. So I think let's inverse them a little bit here. So should grow not from 0 to 37. What if I'm gonna inverse this? Goes from minus 237 to 0. Oops. So or grows from 0 to, let me see. I have to pick up the notebook and calculate if this is not working. Well, it's going up, but I'm not sure at what coordinates it started. So perhaps I should put the rectangle in the other, I should check the coordinates of the rectangle, but at least it looks like it's growing there. Yeah, and it grew there. So rectangle perhaps is not a 277 or is not a 330 plus 237, 550. Let's see. 550. Yep. Now looks correct. Oops. It doesn't stop. It continues to grow. Like in that movie. It reaches the clouds. Well, there is a good reason for this actually. And I have to introduce you to another function from the library here, constraint. Which constraint is basically let me use it. So let's take this one in a value, in a variable v, and v, I'm gonna use the function constraint, which is basically you specify that the value, and we want to basically to constrain it between from and to. So in case it becomes bigger than the 2 value, it remains at 2, stuck at 2, and if it's less, it remains stuck at that value, because frame continues to increase, and we want to have this kind of protection here. Let's see. It's not going at all. Why not? Oh, all right. Because we are going in the opposite direction. Let's see if we have minus 337.0 here. Yeah, we solve it to appear, but it's just not not going the right direction. All right, so I think I know what we have to do. So basically here it's going between 0 and minus 237. The number should be in correct order. So basically the first one it's should be less than the second one, and since they are not, what we can do here, we can swap them, inverse them, and actually this would have been a nice exercise for the variable lesson, but I'm gonna show you how to swap two variables between them using a third variable. There are other techniques as well, but for now we're gonna use this technique here. So here inside we're gonna do a check, basically. If from is greater than the 2, we want to swap them, right? So let's pick a variable here. Actually, we can define it inside, it doesn't matter. Let a temporary variable, it's from. We keep in a temporary variable the first variable. The first variable is equal to 2, and now the second variable is equal to the temporary variable. Let's see. Oops. Goes in the other direction, still goes in the other direction. Why is it doing that? 0 minus 2, 3 is 7. We swap these ones. If we don't swap them, let's see the effect. If we don't swap them, it doesn't grow at all. Or maybe it's behind here. No, doesn't grow at all. So let's see if we did correct the swapping. So if first one is bigger than the second one, we define a third variable. T is the first one. We can overwrite it with 2, and then the second one we can put a T. So this one should be swapped. This is correct. And then let's see. Let's take them in a separate variables here just to do some tests. And you can say if C1, first one is greater than of course then C2, the first one is C1 equal to C2 and C2 equal T. Oh, but if we took in separate variables, oh, all right. The constraint needs to happen is fine. So let me see, and it's going correctly. Yep. So the reason I was about just to use different variables to do another test, but when I realized actually that constraint has this limitation that the numbers have to be in this order. So the other one is mapped correctly when we are going between these frames, because we are mapping intervals. All right, so I think we can clean up the function a little bit, but looks all right now. So we can grow a stem. And now with this function in place, I think we can quickly grow ellipses. So we can grow, we said to grow the leaves between 100 and 200. So we can say here grow between 100, to grow, what is the first one is from and to, from 0 to 124, between 100 and 200. Let's see. All right. And we can do the same with that second one. Actually, we can do it in the same kind of interval from 100 to 200. We grow both of them. But this one, I think originally was 134. This is a little bit bigger. Okay, we can make it a little bit bigger here. Let's see. All right, and we have the leaves. Let's go also really quickly the petals, the red parts. So the flower, the 3 circles, this is the radius, and we said we're gonna grow them interval 200, 300 here. So let me copy here a growth syntax here, and 87 will grow from 0 to 87 in the interval 200, 300. 200, 300. All right. And we're gonna grow all 3 of them at the same time in that interval. Oops. Oh, looks correct. And we have one more thing to grow. This one, which grows to 46. 46, and we can grow between 300 and 400. 46. 46, that's the important part. And it's between 300 and 400. At this moment, these numbers don't matter that much, but let's run it again. Let me save it first. All right. All right, so I think we accomplished the task.